This episode of Blacktop Banter is brought to you by CRAFCO, the world's leading manufacturer of packaged pavement preservation materials and equipment for the asphalt industry. Learn more at CRAFCO.com. Here we are, back in the studio, another live one. This is becoming a common thing, thankfully. And today we have a friend of mine, an acquaintance now for, a couple years, I would say. Michael Wertheim. Michael is a representative of Aquaphalt, which kind of came on the scene in the industry, and all of us were like, sure, water activated patch, yeah, okay. But as we started to make the expo and conference rounds and did some open houses with some suppliers and whatnot, we started to see product demos and stuff from Aquaphalt, and that's where we ran into each other. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Michael. If you want to give us your title and whatnot, you can do that.
Thanks, Marvin. Thanks for having me. My name is Michael Wertheim, and my title is Director of Sales for Aquaphalt, and I'm based out of our home office in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I'm very much a working manager. I cover the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast myself, and then we have a team of 6 other salespeople around the country that are going around doing demos all day, every day, and that's the key to our business is the demo, because you alluded to it. Most professionals, the first time they see or hear about it, they're like, asphalt, you had water too, I don't know about that. And we love that reaction, and we love doing a demo and jumping in our trucks, driving on the patch right away and showing people how it's different and how it can really be beneficial to your business.
Well, I thought you were going to introduce yourself as viral video extraordinaire, because low-key, I know we were at, I think, Charlotte MPE a couple years ago or something, and I ran into you again, and you had I think it was like an orangish Aquaphalt shirt on, your signature khakis and everything, and you're like, "Hey, it's Mike." I said, "No, it's Jake from State Farm," and that stuck with us. And there were people that were coming up at the show and stuff, kind of alluding to that and that nickname and that moniker. But you've done a great job, man, with the videos and branding it and branding yourself in our space, in our industry, in our circle, to where you become synonymous with it, and really, in my opinion, help the Aquaphalt brand, as you were like, all right, cool, I'll be that. I'll be this. I'll start doing the demos and whatnot. You and I met, though, and actually met for the first time when we were able to really speak at one of our local distributors, Seal Coat Company distributors here, and you did a live demo there, and I recorded it. Blacktop Banter was in its fledgling stage at that point. And the video was you had Dockers on. I think you had a pair of wingtips on, and you had a bucket. And it had rained earlier that day, which is terrible for any kind of seal coat demos, except if your product is water activated, right? So we had this puddle, and you can go on our TikTok and find it. I think we posted on our Instagram and stuff then, but I think that thing ended up getting like 12 million views or something like that, which is crazy. You're dumping this bucket into a completely full pothole. It's full of water. When you dump the bucket in, the water disperses out, and you're doing your thing. You just loot it around, and you're going to grab your plate compactor and tamp it in. And I was standing there with a bunch of guys like, okay, this is going to be a great video, first of all, and there's no way this is going to work. We went back last year to the distributors, and that patch is still in the same spot, in that same hole, even with all that water and everything there. So that's how you and I met and kept up with each other. But how did you get to this point to where you work for Aquaphalt? This is your position. What's Michael's background?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I still laugh about the Jake from State Farm. And, I can't help it. I wear khakis and a golf shirt every day. I'm just gonna own it and go with it. My history is I grew up in northern New Jersey, kind of the suburb of Manhattan, but went to college in Virginia and met a girl there, followed her back to Charlottesville and moved to Charlottesville, Virginia, which is a small college town that if you don't work for the university or the hospital, what are you going to do? It's
Right.
a bring your own job town.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got into the construction industry. I was in the kind of concrete ready mix
Okay.
hardscape world first and was doing that for a while.
What were you doing in that space?
I was in sales,
Okay.
but I was really interested in decorative concrete,
Yeah.
and I would do little side jobs on the weekend doing
Really?
stamped concrete patios. I like being outside and working with my hands.
Yeah.
I like the sales side better, but I like doing that too because it helped me learn about the product that I was selling to
Perfect.
my customers, and was doing that for about 7 or 8 years. And then there's a family-owned paving business in Charlottesville, S.L. Williamson,
Yep.
and they have 3 hot mix plants and 150 guys that go out and pave every day for VDOT.
Yep.
But they got hooked up with the Austrian company that invented Aquaphalt. And these guys came over from Europe, and they were looking for someone to manufacture Aquaphalt. And so they started doing that, all that without me, and they realized they had a pretty good product, and they were doing some testing with VDOT and realized they had something, but they were a paving contractor, and they had never really brought a packaged product to market and didn't really have a plan for it. And I knew the owner of the company, and we sat down and talked about it, and she said, yeah, come work for us. We'll put you on an asphalt crew for a little while just so you can learn a little bit about that. And then, I really see Aquaphalt as the plan. And so it was a big kind of leap of faith. And, I thought Aquaphalt was great, but I didn't know.
Right.
So, but it was, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and this was a way to, kind of do it on someone else's dime and have the safety blanket of the big, paving company behind me, but could take Aquaphalt and run with it. And Blair Williamson, the owner of our company, she's amazing. I mean, she basically, gave me a credit card and a pickup truck and said, go figure out how to sell this.
Yeah.
And there wasn't the pressure of being, backed by a private equity group that said, we need this to go from 0 to 1,000.
Here's your mark. We need you to hit this, or else, or whatever.
Right. So I was given the freedom to grow it slowly but surely, and I wanted to grow it through distribution, wanted to sell to our stocking distributors who would then resell to the end users, and we just drive around and do demos all day, every day is really how we built the business, and still doing it today, 12 years later. And, I'm very proud of how we've grown it from 0 to what it is now, just because I saw it from the beginning, and now we've built a great team around it, and it's a standalone business that in a few years might be bigger than the paving side of our business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that we have an advantage in that regard in this industry where, you can still do that. You can drive around, do live demos, be in front of somebody, put the product out there, show them how it works, and catch fire, and it actually take hold. The buzz start to catch. I mean, our industry, which we hinted to earlier, is very much online now, right? And social media. I mean, Blacktop Banter exists because of that. And you see, like, our videos go out, our video of you, that goes to a group of people who all of a sudden have their interests, spike, and then they see you all at a demo, and they already have brand recognition. And all of a sudden they get to see it, touch it, feel it, and understand how it works, give it a shot. And if you weren't in person doing that, I don't know that it would have caught as good, right?
It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Just really, because guys in our industry, I mean, they know what they know, and you tell them something totally different than they've ever learned, they're going to say, no thanks.
Right.
Because the asphalt patching, cold patch industries, been kind of the same old thing for years. There really hasn't been much innovation. And so we really had to change people's minds. And, our marketing budget for the first 10 years was demos. We're not taking out ads in magazines. We're just driving, our sales guys drive 50,000 miles a year with, 50 buckets of Aquaphalt in the back of their trucks. Doing demos all day.
I see them. They're looking like this going down the road. Like, it's like, oh, okay. And we got some right over at Wisco, which we're excited to use and whatnot. But I think that, the other thing that is absolutely recognizable with you all is the buckets themselves, the color and the branding, which I don't know if that was really thought through or anything beforehand, but there's very few companies and manufacturers and suppliers in the industry where their colors, their logo and whatever is just instantly recognizable. And we see that with Aquaphalt. Right. It's been tweaked a little bit, I've noticed, right, on the main logo. But for the most part, the buckets have always looked the same, been the same. But in the short life of Aquaphalt, it's become recognizable, man, within the industry.
That's really great to hear. I wish I could take credit for it. I definitely cannot. And it's funny, Blair Williamson, who started this, all jokes, she picked the orange buckets because they were the most expensive buckets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And everyone's got black or white buckets. It's more expensive for orange, but we want orange, safety cones, orange,
Yep.
high vis is
Construction.
part of it, and just want something that's going to stand out on the shelf and look different because we're selling the Ferrari of asphalt patching.
Oh,
It
for
needs to
sure.
look like it, because you're paying a premium for it, so you want it to look well, you want it to merchandise well, and part of our pitch is usually asphalt patching product comes in a bag, and you walk into the store and the bags are ripped, they're torn, they're making a mess, whereas merchandising a nice orange bucket on a shelf, it works a whole lot better than bags.
Yeah, and when when you grab them, the buckets are durable. Everything's durable. We realize if we get, trust me, I made the mistake. If you get a little bit of air in there, there's a little bit of leakage. We're gonna have issues. So everything's really durable and really put together well. Can you tell us a little bit about how it works? Like, I mean, that's
Yeah.
always the question of like any other thing that we add, any other type of patch we add water to, it doesn't do anything. Like a lot of times it makes it worse if you're talking about the other stuff. But with Aquafall, with that company story, you know, how did this come about and how does it work?
Yeah, sure. And so we didn't invent it, the science or the technology. There's a company based in Austria called Violet, and they are experts in asphalt research and development, engineering, and they do all these wonderful, thin microsurface overlays over there, and they have a lab where they're developing high-end asphalt maintenance products all the time. And they set out to develop an asphalt patching product that could be installed in the winter, in the cold winters, and could be put down on the Autobahn all throughout Austria and Germany
Okay.
and be installed year round. And they came up with this product that has no liquid asphalt in it. And it doesn't have any cement in it either, but it almost acts like that. There's a chemical reaction. When you pour the water on top, it starts that chemical reaction. As the water evaporates out, the product is curing and getting harder and harder. And there's some binder in there that's also activated when you add the water, so it'll bond to the surrounding asphalt. So the secret sauce is the chemical reaction that causes it to set up, get hard, and bond to the surrounding material, unlike traditional cold patch that is more or less
Sticking.
temporary.
Yeah.
It's sticky, it's nasty. You see the public works crew patching a hole out there, and you drive over it and you hear it raveling up under your car, and a week
Yep.
later it's gone after a big rainstorm. And so the idea of developing a premium patch that could be installed all winter long is what they did. And then we were, just small world, lucky enough to meet them in Charlottesville, Virginia, and right time we were willing to listen and expand our business and come up with a new product and take it to market.
Man, so do they have Aquafalt is owned by who?
So good question. So Aquaphalt is owned. So Roadstone Production is the name of our
Okay.
business. It's owned 50% by the American company S.L. Williamson, the paving company,
Yep.
and 50% by Violet, the
Okay.
European company. And that's why it worked with us and them. They're a family-owned business. And when they came over, they talked to a couple of bigger producers who were blown away by the product. They loved it, but they said, okay, sell me your formula. You guys go away. Where we were a family-owned business, kind of
Yeah.
same size as them. Company culture was important, how we did this, and the business interests aligned better because these guys wanted to be a part of it. And they're not involved in our day-to-day business, but they come over twice a year, and they love getting updates from us. They're going to love when I send them this
Oh.
podcast. And they're just great guys, and the people mean a lot to them, and they wanted to be a part of it. So it's really what made it all work.
So they're relatively hands off too. Then they're like they trust you all on what's going
They
on.
do.
And how it's
We
building.
import the liquid from them. It's a special proprietary vegetable oil
Okay.
that we import from Austria still, and then we put it together with local Central Virginia aggregate. But they're great partners, but they also think we're great partners, right? They just
Yeah.
come over twice a year and pick up a check and go back home, and they're there when we need them. But we definitely run the business.
Well, as we close in on the first half here, and we're going to cut to commercials pretty soon. It's an amazing product, an amazing story that some of this stuff in our industry, I like it because it's not necessarily the Wild West, but the opportunities that we don't see that are there, um, they're abound. There's tons of them. And Aquaphalt seems like one of those where it caught and all of a sudden like, oh yeah, okay, this could work. And all of a sudden it does start to work. And then all of a sudden the market, for some reason, everybody has an idea of who their market's going to be, what it's going to go to, who they're going to sell to. They get into it a little bit and they're like, okay, apparently these people like it a lot too. And okay, we're going to have to put a little strategy over here because there's also a market over here. And the big one that we thought may not be exactly what it was. And when we come back from the commercial break, I want you to kind of dive into that a little bit. But it's been a great story so far. We're excited to get into more of it. Real quick, we're gonna bump to a commercial break and get some words from our great sponsors. One of which is Aquaphalt now here that brings this show to the asphalt industry. And then we're gonna come back and Mike's gonna give us a little bit more insight and info on some tougher questions. Asphalt maintenance contractors. Winter's just around the corner, and we all know the harmful effects that colder months have on pavement. Here at Wiscoat, we've tried a lot of products. We keep coming back to CRAFCO because of their crack and joint sealers are the best in the industry. No matter the climate that you're located in, CRAFCO has products that will fit your needs. Find the full product lineup at crafco.com. That's CRAFCO.com. Have you seen the smoothness and compaction that Dynapack's seismic technology has recently brought to the asphalt industry? It's incredible. And Dynapack's CC900G roller may just be the best roller on the market for driveway and parking lot paving contractors. It's even better than the little yellow one that you're used to seeing. But don't take my word for it. Give the CC900G a test run yourself by visiting Dynapack.com and finding a retailer near you.
Say goodbye to potholes and roadway damage without the need for large crews, heavy equipment, or toxic chemicals. Aquaphalt is the only permanent repair material for asphalt and concrete that uses water. And installation is simple. Just pour, add water, and tamp. It's that easy. An Aquaphalt repair can be opened to traffic immediately and fully sealed within 24 hours. Plus, the product is backed by a 3-year warranty and is made in the USA. Visit aquaphalt.com. That's AQUAPHALT.com to learn more.
I'm incredibly proud of the Blacktop Banter Edition seal coating unit produced in partnership with KM International and available now in both the 550 and 700 gallon versions. Custom built on the same frame as their bulletproof hot boxes, I work closely with KM to design what I believe is the best seal coating unit on the market. A unit designed by a contractor for contractors. See the entire walkthrough of the unit on Blacktop Banter's YouTube channel or visit kminternational.com to learn more and place your order. Since its inception, Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance has branded our trucks with the 1-800-BLACKTOP number from the 800 Pavement Network and consistently seen increases in leads and jobs completed. I know the 800 Pavement Network can do the same for your business. Visit 1-800-PAVEMENT.com and get set up with your custom phone number today. All right, we're back. Michael Wertheim's our guest here. Michael's with Aquaphalt and gave us a good background of Aquaphalt, kind of how it works without divulging too much, as I imagine some of it's proprietary. Every time I ask a question about that, I get told it's proprietary. But, we love how it works. Anything interesting within the asphalt industry always sparks my interest. And I think the rest of the industry finds it interesting too. It's a crazy time in our industry, man, because technology is starting to really rear its head and guys are starting to adapt to it, get used to it, get comfortable. And along with that, not only are older products getting made better or older equipment getting made better with new features and whatnot, we even use AI here at Blacktop Banter, which Chris is expertly excited about. As of late, and take some workload off himself, and maybe it'll actually look like I'm starting to do some work. And that I think that comes into play with Aquaphalt too, right? For I don't know, 30 years, coal patch looked the same, and then all of a sudden it doesn't look the same. When people think of Aquaphalt, I think that they kind of think, I'm not going to use it very much because if it's any hole bigger than X amount, I'm just going to cut and replace it or infrared it or whatever. But I realized when you and I spoke, Mike, that it does have its place and where it can be used. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit more of where Aquaphalt does get used and where its space is?
Sure. Yeah. I kind of view us as having three major market channels. Our biggest one is DOTs and municipalities. Um, VDOT in particular is our biggest customer, Virginia Department of Transportation. And these DOTs that they now put Aquaphalt on contract, they've created separate specifications for water activated cold patch. And in particular in the winter, I mean, it's pothole season and hot mix is not available. So they
Yep.
use a tremendous amount in the winter. And then the summer, it's just for emergencies, nights, weekends, because hot mix is available and does a great job. And then second part of our business is you guys, you know, asphalt maintenance contractors, some small ones that maybe don't even have a dump truck. And the idea of going to get a ton or two of hot mix is just not logistically possible.
Yep.
And they want to patch holes in parking lots before they, you know, seal them or stripe them.
Quality and quality patches, right?
Correct.
That's
You
the
know,
big deal.
They don't want callbacks, right? They want to
Right.
do something that they're proud of, that they are going to go by there a month later and they're not worried to like knock on the door and see how their customers doing
Yeah.
because, you know, how's that patch holding up?
Yep.
And so that's a big part of our business. And then the next part of our business is retail, which at first we weren't really sure how we were going to do in retail. And it's a booming part of our business. We're in with Ace Hardware. We're in all 15 Ace Hardware distribution centers around the country, and about 3,000 of the 4,000 Ace Hardware stores
Wow.
now stock Aquaphalt. So it's a very homeowner friendly product too. You know, it's a professional grade product, but it's packaged in consumer friendly buckets. There's no VOCs, no petroleum. Your hands clean up in soap and water.
Yep.
So, you know, your dad can go buy a bucket, fix a pothole in his driveway, tamp it down, and he's thrilled.
Yeah, and your kid can do it and be safe.
My kid does it all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my kid's gonna start doing it. I can tell you that much. He does everything else.
I see him doing line striping videos when
I
you
know,
need live
man.
pothole patching videos
I know.
on
and
Aquaphalt.
He's been out seal coating with us this year too. So, he at first, right, he was like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do this. He thought he was gonna be able to pick and choose. And after a while, I'm like, no, like you're gonna come every day and do all of it. And now all of a sudden, he's got a little bit of a little bit of pride. Like the other day, we were out trimming some sealer, and he was like, I'm getting pretty good at this. You know, he kind of had that little
Has
bit
he
of
asked
ego.
for a raise yet?
Yes, he did. And he actually, so he gets paid by the day, and he was trying to recount days lately. He's like, I think I got an extra day there somewhere. I'm like, where? When? He's like,
love it.
yeah. He's like, I think you're off, Dad. I'm like, okay, now be sure when you make that kind of accusation, because I hold the power to the paycheck, man. So,
great.
but he, he's 12 years old, and we have Aquaphalt, like I said, at Wiscote, and I don't see why he couldn't, right? I mean, it's pretty simplistic on how you can do it. You know, your dad can do it, your grandpa could do it, your grandma could do it. Anybody can. The uses of it that you've seen as far as on the pavement, what does VDOT do with it, and then compared to what I would do with it, right, as a maintenance contractor?
Yeah, well, VDOT, we owe a lot of our success to VDOT. You know, the paving side of our business has been around for 80 years and had a real good relationship with VDOT. So when we brought Aquaphalt to them, we knew we would, you know, get the right audience and get some good feedback. And they were really blown away by it and said, yeah, if y'all start manufacturing this, we'll become a customer. But what really catapulted us with VDOT, there's a bridge tunnel in the eastern half of Virginia in the kind of the Hampton Roads area called the Monitor Merrimack Bridge Tunnel. It's like a 2-mile long bridge, dips down to a tunnel, and then comes up to a bridge on the other side. And as you were going down to the tunnel, you're sitting below sea level. And the construction of this was like, you know, a foot of concrete with a couple inches of asphalt on top. And water was coming through the control joints in the concrete and blowing a hole in the asphalt every 20 feet where there was a control joint. And so the contractor was there, big contractor. They have their own hot mix plants. They were cutting holes, you know, foot wide, 20 feet long across 2 lanes and trying to patch it with hot mix. But because water was actively pumping into it, they couldn't get the hot mix to stay.
Yep.
So VDOT told the contractor, why don't you try using Aquaphalt? And like most people, the first time they're like, asphalt, you add water to? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And so the project manager on the job called me and I said, listen, I'll come down with you. This is a big opportunity. We'll work all night together. So we're patching all these holes. I go home. He calls me. He said, I stayed there all night watching and I just knew it was going to blow out. And he said, he said, "You've made a believer out of me. Those patches are in there. They're staying. You've saved the day on this job." And he's a huge fan of it now. And so that really, that story, that project spread throughout VDOT that, hey guys, we have this new product, this new technology. Here's some special uses for it. Make sure you're aware of it. It can really bail you out of a jam.
Man, that's an amazing story. That's like the Wild West thing I was telling you about.
Totally.
Right? Like, here's an opportunity. I always like these ones because everybody's looking at like, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work or not work, or if it's gonna even stick. And then when it does, it makes for such a cool story.
It does, because people just assume, oh, this guy's got this crazy product, this sales guy in khakis and a golf shirt. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about asphalt. And I love that attitude, because I just take it as a, an opportunity to show them and prove them wrong. And then, to answer the second part to your question, how does someone like Wiscoat use it? It's for your asphalt maintenance, your small stuff when going to get a ton or two of hot mix doesn't make sense logistically, or if it's the winter and it's not available and you need to fix a couple potholes in a parking lot before you seal it and stripe it. Aquaphalt's brilliant, and because there's no petroleum in it, you just have to wait for that bleed water to evaporate and you can seal it the same day.
Yeah, we used it 2 years ago. I used it where a customer took a basketball hoop out of their driveway and took the concrete out, so there was a square there. But they parked their boat there, and I knew that if we used cold patch, it would stick to the boat or stick to the boat tires, or it would sink down or depress. So we used it there, and then I put it. That was the first time I tried it, because I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy a bunch of this and it not work, or it have a shelf life and it not work either. And when it worked and I went back, I was really surprised, because you hear terms like hot mix grade, or hot mix in a bucket or whatever, and I was like, yeah, okay. When I went back and seen the effect of it, my brain, as we do a lot of residential work, we're in a rural area. Residential work is a large part of our volume. I get calls out a lot when the pavement settles below a garage door and there's a 2 or 3 inch lift there, and everybody bumps it and goes into it. Hot mix is about an hour away from us. You have to order a minimum amount, right? And here I am left with all this hot mix and stuff. Cold mix, standard cold mix that we would get from a plant that we keep in a pile or whatever, is going to stick. It's going to push, right? It doesn't firm up. It just pushes down, and it just becomes a nightmare in itself. Aquaphalt worked fantastic for that for us.
Very common application.
Yeah, it worked fantastic, and it made it. People are like, well, it's X amount or whatever. That's fine. We were there. I didn't have to bring a dump trailer. We didn't have to bring lutes or plate compactors or have to cut anything away. I think the one of the, and you might agree with me here, one of the main components to Aquaphalt's success is the fact that it is water activated, and that binder or the chemical compound, whatever it is that's activated in there, will bind to the concrete as well, very well, as it does the pavement, which is unique, because most of the time a real oily asphalt product won't bind very well to concrete, because concrete's a water-based material, and you can't really get the concrete to absorb the oil that's in the standard cold mix. Whereas with Aquaphalt, you're spraying it down with water. The patch is wet, the concrete's wet, the blacktop's wet, and that is leaching in and attaching itself and binding to the concrete and pavement. Is that correct?
You're exactly right. Yeah, Aquaphalt bonds equally as well to asphalt and concrete. And so your application there, asphalt driveway settling at the concrete garage apron, happens to almost everyone who owns a home. That's a very common application. And so that really sets Aquaphalt apart, because it's really the perfect product for that. And you don't need to use asphalt tack, but you can if you want, some added insurance, but you don't really have to, because there's enough binder in the Aquaphalt that it'll bite into both the asphalt and the concrete.
Another cool component about Aquaphalt, which we've come to find out, same concept, with the blacktop moving away from the garage, sometime, or settling below. Sometimes it'll just move away and there'll be a gap there, like a 2 to 4 inch gap, whether that's the sidewalk or the garage or whatever. If it's still flush, we have filled that with Aquaphalt before and compressed it, and then came back later and seal coated over it like within the next day. Whereas with standard patch, we can't do that, right? It's way too oily. It rejects it. When you try to brush it or whatever, it peels the rock out of it and everything. is that okay that we do
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. We have two gradations of product. The Aquaphalt 6 millimeter is our most popular. It's for repairs 1 inch, at least 1 inch wide and at least 1 inch deep. But we also make a finer grade material, an Aquaphalt 4 millimeter.
Oh, okay.
So if your crack's even less than an inch, you can use that. It's almost like a sand mix.
Really?
So it's, you can go down to about a 1/2 inch, but people feather it out even thinner all the time. And
Dang.
it's really nice for some of that real detail work.
Can I get a bucket of that?
Yeah, baby, I'll send
Okay,
you one.
all right. I want a bucket of that. I was just, my brain was like, as soon as you said that, my brain started firing with, we've seen material that kind of has that feel to it that you just described, where you take it out with a trowel, right, and you put it in, and you got to wait forever, and then when you see it dry, it cracks apart from itself and everything. I'm gonna you ship some of that over. I'm gonna be
You
using
got it.
some of it, and we're gonna make some cool videos with it. You kind of alluded to it somewhat, of where people can find Aquaphalt, but let's say that Ace Hardware is fantastic. They're not in all the Ace Hardwares. You can say company names, that's fine, or whatever within the asphalt space. But where can people find Aquaphalt?
Yeah.
In
So
general.
we have most of our distributors listed on our website is the easiest thing to go, go and punch in your zip code. But we have lots of great partners around the country. In your space, Sealmaster is a great partner
Mhm.
for us. Most franchises stock it. They're all independently owned franchises, so some do, some don't. But then we have a lot of big national dealers like Ferguson, like Sherwin-Williams,
Home Depot in Canada.
Home Depot in
This
Canada.
is in
now
48 or
stocks it.
50 countries now, so I'm sure Canada's on that list for sure.
Canadians love Aquaphalt, and they're willing
bet.
to pay for a premium product that works. Yeah, so Aquaphalt's in stock at all the Home Depots in Canada. And, most of your construction, we like dealing with local construction supply houses that are, typically family owned, that are
Mhm.
in, really believe in having good salespeople trained on the product that can explain the difference between Aquaphalt and traditional patch and, tell the customer the pros and cons of each.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's the key too in our industry, is the service and being able to call, and if you do have issues or try to understand it or whatever. And it's always nice to be able to find that distributor or retailer near you, so that somebody can help you out with that. The product that I used most recently, from Aquaphalt, I had somebody, JJ Let Cabbage with Proline down in the Carolinas, sent me a video of a can, and he was like, "You're not gonna believe it, Marvin. It's tack in a can." And I was like, "Tack in a can?" He's like, "Yeah, tack in an aerosol can." He's like, "I'll send you a video of us using it." Let's just say Proline's pretty busy because I didn't ever get video of it. But I was able to get my hands on some, and we did some, actually used hot mix to do one of those. There was a 3-car garage, so we used a ton of mix to feather out the asphalted sank. Every garage door entry, there was that jump and lead to it. And rather than us get a bucket of tack and put it on with a broom, I used the aerosol Tru-Tack. Granted, this was a 3-car garage. There was plenty in the can for us to use it. Enough left over for us to use it again the other day at a local nursing home here in town, where we did the same thing. They had a trip hazard liability. We did some pothole patching and had some left to feather the concrete to the asphalt again. And we used the Tru-Tack in the can again. Give us a little bit of info on Tru-Tack and it coming to the market to us.
So it's a relatively new product for us, and so we don't manufacture it. We import it from our European partners, and we first started using it because they were like, check this product out. Tack in a bucket. Anyone's ever used it, you'll tell me. I mean, it's messy. It's a pain. It spills in the back of your truck, your brush, your broom.
It's done.
Is done. It's it's really just not convenient. And so I said, okay, send me a couple sample cans. And I gave it to guys on our paving crew who are mostly doing big paving jobs and using a distributor, but we have to do patchwork all the time. And he's like, oh my goodness, this is the most convenient product. He's like, why didn't I think of this?
Yeah.
Just put the tack in an aerosol can. Like we didn't reinvent the wheel. It's traditional tack. But the idea that's in an aerosol can is so much cleaner, so much more convenient. You just shake it up, spray it on your joint, throw the can in the back of your truck. You're not worried about the mess. And a can goes a long way. And it's not cost prohibitive by any means. I mean, one can will get about 500 lineal feet out of it.
Yeah.
So you can use it for a long time.
Yeah. What we found is, well, first when I shook the can, I thought maybe there wasn't a marble in there because I was like shaking it. I was like, dude, apparently it's just in here because that happens sometimes, right? Like they don't put marbles in, but I did find it finally, right? And I'm like, okay, so this stuff isn't just real thin, so that comes out of the spray nozzle. It actually has some weight to it in here, and we used it. I was surprised, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you grab that can, and as much as coming out of there, I'm like, yeah, I should have grabbed 2 or 3 cans probably for this job, but I didn't need it. It went the whole way, and like I said, we used some somewhere else. What I like is we had the toolbox on the truck, and all I could think was I was gonna need before a bucket, a brush, something to put the brush in when I was done, because it was going to be messy. It was going to drip down the bucket, more than likely. I was going to drip on the driveway where I didn't want it to be, right? Or I'd had to have the bucket on there and moving. And I didn't have to do that with Tru-Tack. As much as I love Aquaphalt, it's a great product as well. Tru-Tack is exciting.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, because it eliminates so many headaches.
It's just so much better. It's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no reason you should ever use tack in a bucket again, ever.
Right. And yeah, right. And I was thinking about it in the regards of using it with Aquaphalt, right? That pothole patch that I did where they took the basketball court out. How great would it have been for me to spray the sides of that down as well as I knew it was going to adhere? Why not give it a double dose? Spray that out there, use Aquaphalt. And
some added insurance. It's not expensive. You don't need it with the Aquaphalt, which was part of my hesitation of bringing it in. I was like, I don't want to confuse people. We tell them you don't need tack, and you still definitely do not need it. But everyone knows that sometimes they're pushing the limits of the product, a real trouble area, and they want that added insurance. Or if you're using it with hot mix or traditional cold patch, it's a great product. We're like, this is too good of a product not to bring it to market.
Yeah, what I was thinking was sometimes you're doing surface patching and stuff, right? Skim patching, and those areas are super coarse. But for some reason, whether there's utility line there or they don't want it cut and replaced or whatever, and you want to use skim patching, you could just douse that coarse area with the Tru-Tack. You're not getting it everywhere. You can literally take the can, put it back in your toolbox, use it later, and you're good to go. Are we going to see more products like that, you think, from Aquaphalt coming down the line?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not in a rush to bring anything else to market, but as I mentioned earlier, our partners in Austria are just really, they're brilliant. They're scientists.
There's geeks.
They're in the lab cooking up stuff all the time.
I know.
So they have other products that, we will probably bring to market over the years.
Cool.
But really, for 12 years, we've subscribed to do one thing and be the best at it.
Yeah.
The quality control on the production side of Aquaphalt is so crucial to keep the moisture out and produce a product that has a 1-year shelf life is really hard to accomplish. So we don't want to lose focus, and we still have a lot of room to grow. But when we run across something like Tru-Tack that's just too good, we're like, let's do it right now.
Yeah. I don't think people realize that there are major asphalt geeks out there, right?
Totally.
Or like, they want to be in the lab figuring out how to make things and make it work and make it click. And to me, that's cool. That's exciting. That's cool. That's going to allow new things to come. The thing that I really enjoy is the fact that we know we're still going to be able to see you all at events and expos and conferences coming up. The winter months are approaching us, obviously. This one is airing in September, I believe. And will we see you all at some of the expos and conferences and whatnot?
We love trade shows because we love talking to our customers. We love doing demos. And it's been fun to watch the evolution over the years of what is this to now. I'll be doing a demo and 5 people will walk by and just give me a shout out. Hey, we use your stuff. We love it. It's the best. Thank you. And so we love doing trade shows. We're excited about PAVEX this year is going to be awesome. We're excited to be in Texas for that. And then we do a lot of public works trade shows, DOT, municipality, our retail Ace Hardware show. We got coming up in Orlando in a month. So absolutely.
Well, we're excited. We're going to be at PAVEX. We're going to be doing the Blacktop Banter Conference kickoff, which I'm sure we'll see you at.
Absolutely.
Correct. And we're gonna give away some pails of Aquaphalt. Does that sound okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, that sounds good.
And our famous T-shirts. Everyone loves our
They
soft
do
Aquaphalt T-shirts.
They are nice. They are nice. Chris wears his a lot. He likes his a lot. I ran mine this morning. It's sweaty and gross, but I'm gonna use it again and again. It only seemed fitting to put some aqua in the Aquaphalt shirt, so I'm gonna use it too. Mike, where can people find you at online, and then where can they find Aquaphalt?
Sure. So aquaphalt.com is our website. That is, the gateway to everything Aquaphalt related. We're trying to be better at social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I run our Facebook page. I run our Twitter account, and we're working on getting an Instagram account going, but we don't have one quite
yet.
Better
fire that thing up.
We need to.
Yeah, you need to. The world needs to know. Yeah, and that's where we'll be able to tag you and put stuff on there too. Instagram's big in our industry. I think it's, but LinkedIn, as I've come to find out lately, LinkedIn is where a lot of opportunity is, right? Instagram's where a lot of brand awareness comes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, LinkedIn's there. So if you're listening or watching, be sure to add Mike on LinkedIn, and you'll get caught up with a lot of stuff and where they're at and where they're going. Michael, it's been fantastic having you on Blacktop Banter. Always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Marvin. Really appreciate it. This has been awesome. Congrats on all your success. This studio is awesome. You guys have really realized an opportunity in the market, and all the content you're creating. People in our industry are starving for it. So thank you. We really appreciate it.
No worries. No worries. Well, for myself, for Michael Wertheim, this is Blacktop Banter, where, as always, we speak asphalt. Peace.
Hey there, Blacktop Banter fans. This is Hayden. I am the co-founder of Spot On Site. We're asphalt contractors ourselves. We run an asphalt paving company based out of Denver, Colorado. We know this is a game-changing app that will help you measure and mark your locations in your parking lots, document using time-stamped photos, videos, and comments, and send professional-looking reports to your customers. We have a free 14-day trial on spotonsiteapp.com.
Hey, Jessica Lombardo with PAVEX, the Pavement Experience, and I want to invite you all to join us in San Antonio for the first ever event. It will be held January 30th through February 1st at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. We are going to have a live equipment demonstration over 2 days, 60 hours of educational programming, and a full trade show floor with over 75 manufacturers of equipment in the paving and pavement maintenance space. So please join us there, and to learn more and get yourself registered, visit www.pavexshow.com.
When it comes to asphalt tools and supplies, Liberty Supply has darn near everything you need. I actually think the owner, Sam, sleeps on a mountain of spray tips in their warehouse, alongside the pour pots, hot pots, steel brooms, chalk lines, flagging tape, and hundreds of other items. If you call Sam today at 800-397-9907, or visit libertysupply.biz, they'll get you set up with everything you need. For custom and multi-piece stencils, I always turn to Stencil Plus. They've supplied every stencil we use, and these things last a long time. Actually, I should probably call Jeff over at Stencil Plus and just say hi, because it's been a long time since I've had to place an order. Anyway, if you want long-lasting, high-quality stencils, head over to stencilplus.com and save 10% by using code BB10 during checkout.